Welcome back to this series on contesting logistics. Today we dive deep into what makes logistics warfare truly adaptive. Blueprints alone have never won wars. It's the iterative execution, the relentless ability to assess, adapt, and outpace the adversary that defines victory in modern conflict. History shows us repeatedly that logistics is the backbone of warfare, from ancient Rome's meticulous road networks to modern precision supply chains. However, static planning and fixed protocols are inadequate for contemporary threats. Today's adversaries evolve rapidly, exploiting our logistical weaknesses faster than ever before. Our task, therefore, is clear: execute, assess, and adapt continuously. Only by embedding adaptability into every level of our logistics system can we sustain operational advantage. We are now in an era where logistics itself is a contested space, and our strategic imperative is to ensure our sustainment capabilities are proactive, not reactive. Let's explore exactly how we achieve this. To prevail today, we must transform logistics into a self-improving system, one that constantly evolves. Our focus? A clear governance structure, precise measurement frameworks, and rapid adaptation cycles. By establishing clear ownership, accountability, metrics, and aligned funding, we move beyond static plans into a living system. That is, with real-time KPIs where we trigger immediate corrective actions. We become driven with AI-driven adaptability, and we are reinforced by quarterly stress tests. This consistency will drive a rhythm and a tempo that shall outpace adversary adaptation. Consider a traditional logistical plan. It quickly becomes outdated as conditions shift. Instead, we ought to deploy systems where every node feeds continuous feedback, rapidly assessed through predictive analytics. The governance structure we establish assigns explicit ownership, ensuring accountability at every step. Funding is directly aligned with performance metrics, incentivizing constant improvement. Real-time KPIs mean decisions aren't historical, they're immediate, relevant, and actionable. With AI at the core, adaptation becomes automatic, ingrained in our operations. This is how logistics evolves from a static blueprint into an adaptive advantage, constantly learning and reshaping itself to dominate the adversary. If you can't measure, you can't rebound. Critical logistics nodes need constant monitoring. Real-time telemetry combined with Hurst rebound protocols ensures we bounce back quicker than our adversary can exploit disruptions. The formula is simple: if you can't measure, you won't rebound. Each disruption countered swiftly and effectively ensures we remain operationally agile and strategically superior. Effective measurement isn't merely tracking performance. It's about predictive monitoring and swift corrective actions. By embedding telemetry in every critical node, we continuously capture operational data. This data not only alerts us to disruptions, but also predicts potential vulnerabilities before they occur. Paired with well-rehearsed protocols, teams respond immediately, no hesitation, no delay. Such swift responses restore functionality before adversaries can capitalize. The real advantage of measurement lies not just in knowing, but in acting faster. Our logistics resilience depends upon our ability to rapidly rebound, outmaneuvering threats through informed agility and strategic foresight. Metrics matter. They transform excuses into decisive actions. 3 KPIs guide our strategy: throughput, mean time to restore, and disruption tempo. Throughput, measured in tons per day delivered to the front lines, ensures resources flow steadily. Daily tracking at core and theater levels provides instant visibility into logistical effectiveness. MTTR benchmarks our restoration capabilities against enemy targeting cycles. By ensuring our recovery times are faster than adversary retargeting cycles, we maintain continuous operational momentum. Disruption tempo involves continuously cycling through interdiction, degradation, deception, and deterrence every 12 hours, keeping adversaries consistently off balance. Clear, actionable metrics not only track performance but drive immediate corrective actions. Each KPI serves as a strategic lever, quickly turning logistical insights into operational advantages. Instead of excuses, we have precise data informing our next move, ensuring our logistics remain agile, responsive, and resilient under pressure. Unified understanding across all decision makers enables synchronized tempo. That's the power behind the Defense Posture Score and the Defense Threat Index, our tools for establishing a shared operational picture. The Defense Posture Score consolidates vulnerability data across nodes, domains, and timelines. The Defense Threat Index calibrates adversary activity levels and adaptive capacity. Together they enable commanders and staff to make decisions based on a single source of truth. This alignment means we don't waste cycles reconciling different views, we act. Our logistics overmatch dashboard then translates this shared insight into executable actions, supported by live feeds and predictive analytics. It closes the loop between insight and decision. For example, if the threat index shifts, a corresponding signal appears in the dashboard, flagging resource reallocation needs or recommending mitigation strategies. This shared tempo, this unity of operational rhythm, means we act faster, earlier, and more precisely than the adversary. When everyone sees the same threat picture in the same opportunity window, decisions converge and actions accelerate. One truth, one tempo, that's the competitive edge. Let's bring the framework to life with a real-world example, the Poland and Baltic region. Here, we deployed our scorecard in an active theater with high operational tempo and persistent threat proximity. The scorecard allowed us to detect logistical vulnerabilities before the adversary did, turning data into preemptive action. What did that look like? We identified specific rail interchange hubs with rising telemetry instability, prompting predictive maintenance and convoy rerouting before failure. We saw delays in customs clearance through ERP friction, allowing diplomatic intervention within 24 hours. And when throughput dipped by 7% week over week, targeted airlift support was deployed, restoring momentum without a full-scale lift plan. This isn't theoretical, it's how real-time data, operational dashboards, and shared metrics prevented adversary exploitation and kept coalition sustainment lines stable. Budget actions followed not in 6 months, but in 6 days. Because when data closes gaps faster than the adversary can open them, we shift from reaction to control. The Poland-Baltic scorecard wasn't a static report. It was a real-time trigger for synchronized decisions, timely resourcing, and battlefield advantage. Sustainment innovation cannot survive without structure. That's where governance steps in. The Joint Sustainment Governance Directive defines roles, authorities, and responsibilities across the joint logistics enterprise. Without this directive, adaptation drifts into abstraction, initiatives fade, accountability dissolves, and funding evaporates. This directive ensures that adaptation is someone's job, not just everyone's wish. It establishes who owns the assessment cycle, who manages the adaptation budget, and who reports performance outcomes. Think of this as the connective tissue between data, decision-making, and dollars. A well-defined governance model prevents diffusion of effort. It ensures there is always a named leader, a funded requirement, and a timeline to implementation. As logistics becomes more complex and distributed, governance becomes not just a support function, it becomes the operating system. The better our governance, the faster our system adapts. That is the ultimate currency of competitive advantage. Artificial intelligence is not a set-it-and-forget-it capability. It's a living model that must be retrained regularly to remain operationally relevant. In our logistics operations, we've adopted a 5-step AI pipeline: ingest, train, validate, deploy, and retrain. Every 30 days, we update our models using battlefield data, telemetry logs, and exercise inputs. This ensures the decision makers are acting on fresh, real-world signals, not outdated assumptions. The model ops cycle begins by ingesting vast data sets from sources like ERP systems, crane telemetry, and SOAR workflows. We then train AI algorithms on these data streams, validate them against new threats, and deploy them across command and control environments. Most importantly, we close the loop. Retraining ensures that yesterday's success does not become tomorrow's blind spot. With every iteration, the AI improves its predictive capacity, flagging bottlenecks before they occur, recommending reroutes before delays hit. Speed matters, we target sub-10-second decision cycles. In today's fight, stale AI is silent failure. Only fresh models make operational sense. Stress testing is no longer optional, it's essential. That's why we run the logistics red flag every quarter and a full campaign-level wargame annually. This isn't about checking boxes, it's about breaking things. The goal is deliberate failure, identifying the brittle points, the single points of failure, and the systems that don't scale. During logistics red flag, we simulate everything from cyber attacks on depot software to kinetic disruptions of fuel convoys. We crash networks, break APIs, and overload communication channels. Then we learn, and most critically, we fix. Our annual wargame pushes the edge further, integrating intelligence, fires, sustainment, and coalition partners in a fully contested scenario. Every lesson we gather feeds back into the model ops pipeline and the governance structure. These exercises are no longer rehearsals, they are rehearsal-based adaptation cycles. In war, no logistics plan survives first contact. So we make sure ours have already survived failure under our own terms before reality demands it. Lessons only matter if they loop into policy and procurement fast. That's why our goal is to move from field insight to acquisition modification in under 90 days. Any slower and we fall behind the threat. Our accelerated loop includes 4 steps: capture frontline insight, codify it into doctrine updates, align it with acquisition planning, and field a better solution, all within the same fiscal year. Soldiers should see change not in 2029, but in the next quarter. This loop breaks bureaucratic inertia. In FY24, we tested this cycle with a fuel distribution telemetry update. The insight came from an exercise in Poland, was codified into a technical requirement, and pushed into an updated contract, all in 63 days. That's the tempo we need. When field feedback drives real-world change, we send a message to soldiers. Your insights matter. More than that, we create a system where adaptation is routine, not reactive. Field, learn, fund, field again, faster. Measure every 30 days. Learn something new during that period. And also seek to adapt every 30 days. The warfighting advantage doesn't belong to the force with the best plan. It belongs to the force that learns the fastest and implements what it learns without delay. That's what this entire execution assessment model is about. Generating tempo and embedding transformation into the logistics enterprise. By creating a culture of continuous feedback, by reinforcing it with AI-enabled decision tools, and by ensuring tight governance around adaptation, we stay ahead of the threat curve. But this only works if we execute with discipline. This is not a think tank model, it's an operational imperative. So I ask you, who is measuring, who is learning, who is adapting, and are we doing it faster than the adversary? If the answer is yes, and we're doing it every 30 days, then we are not just in the fight, we are winning it. So let's execute the loop relentlessly. Thanks for joining me again.